My partner of 6 years ghosted me for weeks while juggling a violent roommate and mental health struggles. I said, "It hurts that you can't text me back." They apologized but still went silent. Now I'm lost. Is our love worth the wait? Hello, I apologize if this comes across as rambling, unclear, or poorly formatted. I have never posted on Reddit before, but I have reached a point where I feel the need to express all of this in writing, anywhere other than my own mind. I also want to apologize in advance for the length of this post. It consists of numerous individual incidents that have occurred over the past few months. I, 23 non-binary, have been in a relationship with my partner A, 22 non-binary, for 6 years, almost 7. We met through a mutual friend and initially bonded over our shared love for a particular podcast. We became very close friends for about 6 months before confessing our feelings for one another and deciding to start dating. Throughout our entire relationship, we have been long distance. During high school, I lived 7 hours away by car, then during college, we were approximately 3 hours apart. After graduation, I remained in the state where they attended school and I moved back home, making our current distance about 4 hours. Long distance has been challenging, however we have both adjusted to it over time, even if it can be painful at times. We do our best to see each other when possible. It was more difficult when we were younger. But now it is somewhat easier since we both have cars and frequently text each other, have call date nights through Discord, and send each other memes, TikToks, and anything else that reminds us of one another. Although our messaging has become less intense since we both started working full-time, maintaining regular contact remains a significant part of our relationship. The primary issue, as mentioned in the title, is that A has essentially been ghosting me for weeks since November of last year. For a significant amount of time, I was unaware of the reason for their absence because they did not communicate it to me. This situation has dragged on for a long time and is exhausting, so I will provide a brief timeline to clarify things as much as possible. I apologize again if this seems rambling. A few months ago, around Thanksgiving, I began to respond less frequently to my messages. From November 26 to December 3, I texted them 6 times with small messages like "good mornings," "I love you," and inquiries about their availability for a call. They only provided a substantial response after my 6th message, apologizing for their absence and stating they were unsure when they would be free to call due to scheduling and going out of town. I assured them it was entirely okay, explaining that I understood they were busy, and we could talk whenever things settled down. A little over 2 weeks passed. They sent me a few posts on Instagram and liked the ones I sent, but they did not respond to my texts. Eventually, on December 22, they replied, apologized for their lack of communication, and briefly explained that they were dealing with a lot regarding their mental health and were sorry for worrying me. I expressed my love and assured them that if they wanted to discuss it, vent, cry, or anything else, I was there for them. I emphasized that I did not want to pressure them into anything they did not want to do but wanted to know what was happening to support them. I also asked if we could possibly have a call on Christmas Eve, which is our anniversary. I indicated they wanted to spend time with me but would have to assess the situation because they would be with their roommate's family for the holidays and were uncertain about the exact plans. They apologized for being unable to communicate extensively and expressed their love for me. I responded that I was there if they wanted me. They replied that they truly did not know how to respond to that, clarifying that it had nothing to do with their desire for me. They admitted they were struggling mentally and emotionally, but did not provide further details. They expressed gratitude for my support, mentioned they had a couple of days off coming up, and would try to reach out when they were able. December 24 is our anniversary. Technically, it is celebrated on the 24th and the 25th because we confessed our feelings to each other at around 1 a.m. on Christmas Eve day, so we alternate between which specific day we celebrate our anniversary. That afternoon, I messaged her to see if they had any time to talk, as I would love to wish them a happy anniversary as closely as possible to in real life. We had not planned anything special for our anniversary because I knew A was going through a lot, even if I was not aware of the specifics, and I did not want to add more stress. I genuinely wanted to hear their voice, if only for a moment, to wish them a happy anniversary. I replied that they would need to keep me updated since they had a migraine and their roommate's family had not yet eaten, asking if we could talk after dinner. I expressed my hope that their headache would subside. About an hour later, they texted again saying they still had a migraine and were largely nonverbal, so they did not think a call was feasible. They apologized and asked if I had any free time in the coming days. I was hurt but said it was okay and that we could call later. I should have communicated my feelings openly, but I did not. At that time, I was at a Christmas Eve party at my neighbor's house and ended up getting slightly tipsy, primarily due to my sadness. The combination of being tipsy and upset led to this exchange. It hurts my feelings that you did not respond to me for 3 weeks. I know a lot has been going on and I know it can be very difficult and I am sorry, but it still hurts. I was genuinely worried about you. If things are happening, I want to know even if I cannot help. I want to know because I love you. I am sorry. I just wish. I know you have a lot on your plate. I wish I could be included too. I hope you have a good Christmas Eve. Please do not worry about it tonight. It is okay. I love you. Alright, I do not have the capacity to respond to this fully right now, but I will do what I can. First, I am sorry for hurting you and causing you to worry. That was not my intention. However, I did tell you up front that I had a lot going on, and while I did not answer your texts, we communicated on Instagram and Snapchat in between my responses. So other conversations took place, and there was no reason to assume I was completely unresponsive. It would be one thing if I had fallen off the face of the earth entirely, but I did what I could and you were aware that I had a lot going on. I admit this is confusing and especially why you are bringing it up now since initially you indicated you wanted to discuss anniversary plans. In any case, I do not have anything new to say. I worked a lot, was out of town, and then worked more and began facing mental health challenges. It has not even been a week, but I am still recovering and can barely get out of bed right now, let alone engage in conversations about any of this. Again, I am truly sorry for hurting you. I simply do not have the words for what is happening and there is no way for me to explain it better than I already have. What I need is a therapist and I recently regained insurance, so believe me when I say I am working on it. But aside from that, nothing else is going to help, and reaching out feels nearly impossible when I feel suffocated daily. I do not know how to articulate this without sounding selfish, but I am not the only one who has gone quiet under pressure in this relationship. Even when I worry, I try to meet you with grace and understanding because, at the end of the day, being long distance is harder, and it can be more challenging to reach out when there is no physical proximity. I did inform you that the next few weeks would be extremely busy, and I have been doing what I can in between, so stating that I did not respond at all hurts because I was doing as much as I physically could. That is not everything they said, but I do not feel comfortable sharing more because they elaborated on their mental health struggles, and I do not want to invade their privacy further. They are correct. We did exchange Instagram posts, and I messaged them on Snapchat to compliment a tattoo they got, to which they responded with thanks. I had kept reassuring them that I was not upset and that everything was fine, and it was unfair of me to unload all my feelings onto them without warning. In the past, I have also gone quiet while dealing with my own mental health issues. We both have. However, I have never not responded to them for nearly a month. This felt especially hurtful and out of the ordinary due to the length of time. We had never gone that long without one actual conversation, and I did not know what was happening with them. I was becoming increasingly worried and hurt, and being tipsy on our anniversary just led to my pent-up feelings spilling out. After A's response, I panicked and tried to retract my statements. I struggle immensely with the idea of having upset someone or feeling like someone is angry with me, and I ended up apologizing for saying anything, stating that I should have kept quiet and shut down, telling them to forget it. A replied that they did not want to forget it. It was not accurate that I should have held back. They apologized for causing me pain and emphasized the necessity of discussing not just that but also our relationship as a whole, considering we are no longer in college and that things have changed. They asked me to share my thoughts on when and how we could discuss it. I replied, apologizing for unloading my feelings on them, for failing to communicate effectively, and for being overly apologetic. I expressed my love for them and wished them a happy anniversary. The next morning, I texted them again, now sober, to apologize once more for my poor communication. I wished them a Merry Christmas and assured them there was no need to respond due to their busy schedule. A few days later, a messaged me to ask when would be a good time for us to have a conversation. We tentatively planned to talk on Wednesday of the following week, January 8. Leading up to the call, I felt physically ill from anxiety. On Wednesday, I reached out to let them know I had returned home from work and asked if they still wanted to call. They confirmed they did, but shared that they had experienced more mental health challenges earlier that week and felt extremely drained. Therefore, instead of discussing our relationship, we logged into Discord to watch silly shows together, which was enjoyable. They chatted and seemed to have a good time, and I managed to make them laugh a few times. Afterward, I felt more positive. We engaged in a few meaningful conversations throughout January, but around the 16th, A's responses began to decline again. On the 24th, they messaged me to apologize for not reaching out, saying they loved me and would try to update me soon. I told them it was all right and expressed my pride in them. 6 days later, on January 31, they messaged a Discord group we share with two close friends and detailed what had been happening in their life. I will not go into many details due to privacy concerns, but essentially one of their roommates, not S, lived with two others, S and D, became extremely scary and violent, throwing objects, damaging their living area, yelling, and engaging in terrible behavior. The situation became so severe that A and S relocated to an Airbnb temporarily. I still do not know all the details, but it was a horrible situation, and I completely understand why I struggled so much. I messaged them, offering my assistance and letting them know that they and S were welcome to visit me if they desired, and asked if they could like my message or provide some confirmation that they were safe. They replied that they were. Over the next 2 weeks, we had one brief conversation at the beginning of February. I tried not to overwhelm them with messages since I did not want to add stress to their already extremely difficult situation. When Valentine's Day arrived, I did not ask it to do anything for the same reason. Still, I wanted to do something for them, so I prepared some funny memes, created a silly Valentine's card, and sent a small gift in the mail. I tried not to expect anything in return or to hope they would message me that day, but they did. They texted me on that morning, wishing me a happy Valentine's Day, expressing their love, and asking if I wanted to call after they got home from work. I responded enthusiastically that I would love to talk and said I would be free at 7, as I had worked that afternoon. At this point, A and S were still living in their apartment along with D. A told me that they could not discuss the complicated situation with D still in the house but were happy to hang out and watch funny shows. I was incredibly excited and happy. However, just a few hours later they messaged me with this. "Hello, I am so sorry. Is there any chance we could postpone our call to another night? My friends have invited me to go out." Normally I might decline, but today is the deadline we initially gave D to leave and I have been anxious about it all day. I think getting out of the house will be good for me. I feel awful canceling since I was the one who asked to call today. If you would prefer I stay in, I understand, but I thought I would at least ask. This hurt my feelings deeply. I should have expressed how I felt, but I genuinely wanted them to get away from D and the situation that caused them so much pain. Hence, I felt terrible even thinking about saying, "No, actually I want you to stay in and talk to me." I told them it was perfectly okay and that getting out was a great idea, which was true, but it still hurt while expressing my love for them. We agreed to reschedule our call. The next day, I reached out to inquire when they would be available for our make-up Valentine's call. We settled on doing it on the 19th. We connected on that day and spent about an hour together before I had to leave to meet the maintenance person they were expecting. They said they would return once that was done. But soon after, D began creating a scene again, sending aggressive text messages and ranting outside their door. We decided to wait until D had left before trying to call again, but by then I was understandably very shaken and needed time to express their emotions and calm down. Later that evening, we had a lengthy conversation over text, where I opened up about the situation until they felt ready to sleep. They mentioned that they still wanted to discuss our relationship, but everything felt like too much at the moment. I reassured them that I understood, expressed my love, and told them I was proud of them. I texted them twice in the week that followed. They were brief messages, just some "I love yous" and "I hope your day is going okay." On March 1, they replied, apologizing for being unavailable and stated they were worn out but managing and expressed their love for me. I responded that I loved them and was proud of them. In the following month, I texted A about a dozen times without a reply. They sent me a few messages on Instagram, but when I responded or engaged with their posts, I did not receive a response. Eventually, it reached a point where I was using their sporadic Instagram stories just to confirm my anxiety that they were still alive, which I know sounds irrational, but I have experienced sudden loss before, so my anxiety's worst-case scenario always concerns the possibility that the person I care about is dead, even if it is illogical. The longer the silence stretched on, the more sad, hurt, and somewhat angry I grew. However, my anger never remained anger. It consistently transformed into more sadness. Eventually, I asked A if they wanted me to stop messaging them. If my texts were stressing them out or feeling overwhelming, I did not want to continue sending them. That night, they finally replied, apologizing for their lack of responses. They explained that day had been particularly hectic, with almost 12 hours at work. In general, things had been extremely chaotic, and they had not had the capacity to communicate with anyone, spending most of their free time resting. They acknowledged that this was not an excuse and that they needed to be more present. They understood if I was upset but did not know what else to convey, mentioning they had a double shift the following day and needed to sleep. They promised to try to respond to my other messages soon. I thanked them for replying, truly relieved, and then sent a lengthy message outlining how hurt I had been feeling about everything. I expressed how terrible I felt for being hurt, knowing they had been through a lot. I emphasized that I wanted them to prioritize their well-being above all else, truly understanding what it is like to struggle with limited capacity. Still, I felt hurt. It has been 10 days since then, and I have not received a response. I am at a loss about how to proceed. I wish I could eliminate the part of me that is in pain and continue to message them with thoughtful items, good morning wishes, and everything else I have worked hard to maintain over the past several months, all while not revealing the depth of sadness, hurt, and loneliness I feel, as if I am merely an afterthought in their life. But it is painful. I do not want to pretend it does not affect me. Since December, they have done numerous things, such as getting a tattoo, adopting another kitten, and attending a concert. A selfish part of me continues to think, they can do all this, but they cannot text me back. They cannot take 2 seconds to send an I love you too and not leave me in the dark for days and days on end. A negative, insecure part of me cannot help but question whether I am simply not worth the effort. If I am their partner, if they love me, and if we have been together for 6 years, should I not be worth that effort? I do not know. It hurts. A lot has happened in my life too, nothing as profound as what A has faced, but still significant, and I have been desperately trying not to let that impact how I treat them. I have worked hard to ensure they feel loved and valued because they mean so much to me. We have known each other for over half a decade, supporting each other through numerous hardships, and I want to continue assisting them through this, but it hurts. I feel incredibly lonely. I do not know how much longer I can keep doing this when it causes me so much pain. I apologize again for the lengthy, rambling nature of this post. I genuinely seek advice, but part of me also needs to express everything I have not explained to anyone else in my life in such detail. My anxiety convinces me that the two people I confided in are biased, lacking the full story, and that if they were privy to everything, they would agree with my internal insecurities, that I am at fault and simply need to remain silent. This has been festering within me for months, and I needed to share it with someone, even if that someone is a stranger on the internet. I understand if this is overwhelming to read in its entirety. Just putting it all in words has helped even a little. To summarize, due to mental health challenges and a multitude of other terrible events, my partner has been ghosting me, ignoring my texts for weeks and communicating minimally. I reached out to express my hurt feelings and have not received a reply. I do not know how to resolve this, how to approach the situation, or what steps to take next. It is very painful. What can I do to effectively address this with them? Story 2. Rekindling feelings with my ex, 25, after a messy breakup led to heartbreak all over again. I need space, she said while I silently grieved. Watching her fall for someone else felt like a betrayal, especially when she admitted, I didn't want any of it. Can we really heal together? Hello. Please bear with me, this is somewhat lengthy, but it is my only way to express my feelings since I have no one to talk to about this. People around us may change their opinions about her, and I do not want that. I do not harbor any negative feelings towards her, not even hatred for what she has done. To be honest, I still find myself loving her. We ended our relationship after 3 years because I was not meeting the expectations she had for me, the bare minimum as you would call it. She was still in college at that time while I was working. To be transparent, I was in significant debt, yet I still loved her deeply. Every penny counted for me back then, even weekends I would work because I wanted to escape that situation as quickly as possible. My insecurities overwhelmed me, and I had low self-esteem due to my circumstances. I admit that I neglected our relationship, which is why she decided to end it. I was devastated, but I still respected her decision because I felt worthless at that time. A week after we broke up, she was already in a new relationship. I only learned about this when we met. And with the grace of God, I managed to resolve some of my financial issues, not all, but enough to help me breathe and sleep peacefully at night, unlike before. After our breakup, I redirected my attention to our dog and worked on improving myself spiritually and emotionally. It was truly challenging. I spent weeks lying in bed until one day I finally got up to focus on self-improvement after weeks of wallowing. Meanwhile, she entered a new relationship that I was unaware of until she shared it with me. I concentrated on taking our dog for walks and bonding with a Kahiro. We decided to co-parent for our fur baby. Our communication resumed, and I felt it might be dangerous to reconnect since I was heartbroken when she broke up with me, but I did not pay it much attention and did not give it any malicious intent. She began opening up to me and eventually revealed that she had become intimate with her new boyfriend within just a week of dating, and I think she was concerned about how I would react. She even joked about how she did not intend to do so. I was very supportive of her from the start. Months passed and she started talking to me more, asking for advice on how to approach her new partner. She honestly told me that something was happening between them at that time. She had been a virgin throughout our relationship, and I respected that since she was still studying. Then there came a moment when she was delayed for a month and she panicked. I supported her and advised her on how to discuss it with her boyfriend, who was 20 at the time, while she had just graduated from university. I felt cornered when her boyfriend did not respond seriously, and I felt bad for her. I told her that if he did not reply, I would be willing to step up and take responsibility for the child. She was not certain she was pregnant, but I encouraged her to get tested as she was too scared. In any case, she managed to persuade the guy to accompany her, and it turned out to be negative. During the checkup, I was extremely worried because I was in Cebu for a work trip. I checked in with her to see how it went, but she did not respond until 2 days later, telling me it went well and that it was negative. It was Mother's Day and we were becoming closer again. She told me she had no feelings for her boyfriend and I had loved her for such a long time. My feelings came rushing back. She mentioned ending things with him, and I believed it was a mistake that I held on to that hope. Fast forward to Mother's Day, I was still in Cebu. She did not respond to me all day. She finally replied early in the morning saying she had just returned home. I saw from her story that they had gone out together and she introduced him to her family. I was left devastated. I asked her how she could do that to me and she quickly deleted the photo and said, "What do you expect from me? I had no choice," among other things. I decided not to respond. A few days later, I cannot exactly remember how, but we managed to reconcile, and then I needed to return to Manila. She told me how much she still loves me. I did not say it back. Deep down, I was afraid to confess because I was scared of getting hurt, but I still loved her at that time. Weeks passed and we had to celebrate my sister's birthday along with hers since they are within days of each other. We decided to celebrate in Tanay, Rizal and returned home that day. It was a wholesome celebration filled with fun. Upon returning home, she asked me to massage her hand, so I did, and she fell asleep holding my hand. She was sleeping peacefully while I was reflecting on everything that had happened. She mentioned that she ended her relationship with him. Fast forward to July, I faced some issues at work and eventually had to shut down, and she did as well. I needed time alone to process everything happening around me. She was patient and waited for me. In the first week of July, when I began talking to her again, on July 2, she fell ill and said she needed some rest. By this time, I had discovered the boyfriend's Instagram and was secretly watching his stories because he once posted a video of him bowling, and I recognized both the watch and the sandals of the woman he was with. It was her, but she denied it. One time, he posted a video of them talking in a car, starting from her legs up to her face, which I found offensive because I felt he was objectifying her. That was the night she stopped replying, stating she had fallen asleep while out with him to talk. On July 2, he posted a photo of her from behind buying cinema tickets. I called her to ask where she was, but there was no response. I went to her home and brought her medication, but her mother told me she had gone out with high school friends for a reunion. I was shaking piece by piece as I walked away while trying to contact her. It was raining, and I did not care if I got soaked. I decided to go home and messaged her with my concerns and included a screenshot of her with him, then blocked her. I went to bed afterwards when I heard a notification. I opened it and saw a message from her boyfriend or ex. I am not sure anymore, calling me rude. It triggered me immensely. I got into an argument with the guy via chat, and he hurled many nasty insults at me, including pictures of them in bed, while I calmly told him to take her home because her mother was worried about her. After that, I did not reach out again. I decided to deactivate my Instagram and let it be. The following morning, I thought about giving her mother donuts to show my appreciation for her help. It turns out they had fought in the car and he wanted to elope with her. She did not communicate with me after that incident. However, she did speak to him, apologizing and such, while I received no apology at all. I let it be. 2 days later, she called and seemed uncertain about what to say. Here comes my foolishness. I supported her when she claimed she did not want any of the intimacy they shared. She said he pressured her and told her to think of me while being intimate with him. I did not judge her. She had already destroyed her reputation with her family because everything was revealed to them. It turned out they had been intimate more than 5 times but less than 10 during their 3-month relationship. I just focused on helping her recover while I was unsure of how I felt. Fast forward a few months later, she ended things with him and asked if we could try again. I said I was still uncertain and that we should both focus on healing. I may not have told her, but I was experiencing bad dreams and was genuinely wounded and I could not bring myself to meet her. I think my grief was a bit delayed. I felt this way until December and January, and then fast forward to February, I became more open. I even sent her flowers for Valentine's Day. I was feeling somewhat better, but I cannot say I am fully healed. I still carry the traumas, but I cannot share that with her because I do not want to hurt her or make her feel ashamed. I go out with family but never alone. We eat out occasionally on weekends. I do not speak much in person. I tend to open up more through chat. I do not know why. I felt a little emotionally unsafe. On March 23, she and a group of friends joined my family outing. They were originally my niece's visitors. My niece and she became good friends, which I thought was the understanding they had, that they would separate if they wanted to since they were just going as a group. I was not really paying much attention to them. I greeted them as they were getting into the vehicle even though I was sitting in the front and they were at the back. I did feel awkward, especially since one girl did not seem to like me, but I tried my best. After we returned home, she became upset with me, claiming I embarrassed her in front of her friends because I merely passed by her, treating her like air. I kept explaining that it was not my intention. I thought everyone was having fun in their own groups. She lashed out about us not going out alone together and that I had never changed over 4 years. She counted that year in our relationship as if nothing transpired. Ultimately, she ended things with me again, stating she could not return to that kind of arrangement. I was genuinely hurt, devastated once more. I was deeply depressed, but it has been a month and I can say there are fewer tears. Still, I find myself often blank and unfocused at work. She has accused me of not considering her feelings at all, saying that I made her feel terrible. So she affirmed that there would be no returning to our relationship. I decided to respect her decision and let her be, but we agreed on co-parenting a Kahiro. I informed her that she could block me everywhere, as co-parenting does not require conversation. I could ask her mother when I wanted to pick up a Kahiro since she always seemed angry when I tried to reach out. I believe her anger was triggered when I told her I was not ready yet, not giving her a chance to explain. During this phase, it was all her lashing out and expressing her emotions to the extent that she said things like, "You are intelligent, right? Why can't you understand?" When I expressed how I felt, she told me, "Don't use what I did against me because it was only months' worth, while you had 3 years to change, mind you." It was genuinely painful to hear from someone you love and cherish. I did not have the opportunity to explain myself. She even told me, "If you have faults, do not involve me in them." I felt as if she indirectly called me stupid and crazy based on how I behaved and how I reacted. Her friends advised her that I was a waste of time since they did not see us being affectionate with one another. Her point was that it was my time to prove myself because I was trying to win her back. That left me puzzled. Win her back. Fast forward to now, I kept telling her to block me everywhere since she was always angry at me when I tried to reach out, even regarding a Kahiro. She even reposted something on TikTok stating, "Whenever you miss the bond, remember the disrespect." I wanted to speak up, but I still love her too much to hurt her by bringing those issues up, so I decided to let it be. I love her, which is why I allowed her to be and become the villain in our story that she shared with her family and friends. So that is all. I still struggle to forget her, which is why I mentioned that blocking me would be the best option for us to avoid any contact. Regarding co-parenting, I can simply ask my niece to inform her mother. Just now she became furious, saying she is fed up with me because I keep bringing up blocking and removing me from everything, so I apologized. I thought it might lighten her burden since she said she was exhausted lately and I assumed it was due to me. So yes, I said I was sorry. I did not mean to upset her. Sai, I cannot really vent to my family. I do not want to damage her reputation or image, so I chose to bottle all of this up within myself. Guys, yes, maybe I am foolish, but anyway, thank you for listening or reading. Story 3. My girlfriend said, "I cannot control what's in here," while I struggled with jealousy over her yacht party invite from a guy who once dated her. After hours of deep talks and doubt, I wonder if our trust can hold or if this is a sign to let go. I, 26 male, and my girlfriend, 26 female, began dating about a year ago. We worked together at a firm that I left to be with her as we had a policy against dating coworkers. She brings me joy. She is intelligent, amusing, kind, and driven. A source of tension in our relationship has been this guy she was involved with, though they were never in a committed relationship. Let's call him Bob. She informs me that they were together for approximately 2 years. This man has more money than I do and invited my girlfriend, as well as inviting me by name, to a large airbnb with several of his friends. However, he also invited my girlfriend to a yacht party the following day with a group of other attorneys, but not me. I am not close to him, having met him only once. They maintain a friendship and she does contract translation work for Spanish-speaking clients for his firm, which he co-owns with another attorney, whom we will refer to as James. The rental is scheduled from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., but my girlfriend mentioned it might extend beyond that. My girlfriend has assured me when I asked that she would never betray my trust, as she has integrity and wants to be able to say she has never behaved in such a manner. Fine, I trust her. However, I am reaching a point where I am considering ending our relationship because I find this disrespectful. Even if you are not cheating, and I believe her, she is placing herself in a situation where that might occur, particularly considering the nature of yacht parties. Another issue that upset me was when she texted this guy Bob saying that she would be dancing provocatively. She shared the messages with me in which Bob responded that she would not because she is with me, asking who she would be dancing for. Her reply was vague. I find this disrespectful to me. What message are you conveying when you text another man this, especially one you were involved with in the past? Both of us have experienced infidelity before, as have I. She frequently tells me that she belongs to me and envisions us getting married and having children. She gave me the keys to her house and shows a great deal of care and passion for me. Sometimes, I question whether my feelings are influenced by my past trauma or if there truly is something inappropriate happening here. If you need more context, please let me know. I am not asking a specific question, I simply seek guidance on how to navigate this situation and whether I should end the relationship. Thank you. Update. We talked for hours about this. I expressed all of my feelings and arguments in a very calm and softened tone to avoid turning it into a full-blown argument. I informed her that I felt uncomfortable about what she had said to him. It was a phone conversation, not a text, regarding dancing provocatively. I told her even Bob, who I am unsure is being coy or not, confronted her about it. She explained that it was merely a manner of speaking, girly lingo, and she apologized for saying it but insisted that this apology implies she is or might be doing something wrong, which she is not. She described it as girl talk. I asserted that attending the boat party without me was inappropriate. She responded that these are her friends and that she enjoys having unique experiences to reflect on. She stated that she does not know when she will have the opportunity to be on a 90-foot yacht again, and she planned to dance and swim, claiming she was not even thinking about anything else. She questioned whether this is how I perceive her, that she is some promiscuous person. She repeatedly asked why my initial thoughts are about her cheating and suggested that it might be a projection of my own actions on a boat. She remarked that her history with Bob is irrelevant since it occurred a long time ago, and she feels uncomfortable when I bring it up. I maintained that their past matters in this context and expressed a desire for her to limit her interactions with Bob. She stated that she has significantly reduced their communication, and they only text when necessary, such as for work or to check in if it's been a while, like with any other friend. She invited him once to see a show with her early in our relationship, mentioning that it might happen again. I indicated that I would prefer she refrain from doing that in the future. She stated that she understands and will comply, but again emphasized that I am thinking in ways that are not true and projecting my own insecurities or what I might do in certain situations. She asked me if I wanted her to attend the boat party or not. I told her that after our conversation it would be inappropriate and a slap in the face. I explained that I had shared my perspective and that the decision was now up to her. She feels as though I forced her hand. I hinted that we may be incompatible. She said she would not attend but now feels resentment because she believes I am attempting to control her and that she needs to find the boundary where I do not cross into her personal autonomy. She noted that we live in a coastal city and that it is inevitable she will receive other invitations, such as for another boat party, asserting that she has a life outside of our relationship. She texted her father and her best friend, neither of whom expressed significant concern about how the boat party might affect our relationship. Most importantly, she remarked that I was overthinking things and listening to strangers on the internet. I had not even mentioned this Reddit thread. I told her that once we are married, I want it to be just the two of us, without any previous partners involved. It seemed she drew the line here. She explained that Bob had been her friend, then colleague, then something more, but they ultimately maintained a friendship. She questioned what extent I want to control her contact with her friends. Overall, I sensed sincerity in her voice. The truth is, I know my girlfriend better than anyone else. I feel as if I might have pushed too hard, and at this point, I recognize that I may have some insecurities stemming from my previous experiences of being cheated on. She expressed her frustration with how I hinted at possibly ending the relationship. She mentioned that she waited years to be with me and asked me to stop implying that our love is conditional, as it makes her feel unsafe. I spend most of my time with you, I go to bed with you, no one else. We made love and she repeatedly told me that she belongs to me and only to me. Early this morning, the tension remained. We spoke a little more. She noted that she will feel resentment for a period but will continue to discuss ways to make me comfortable regarding her friendships. She remarked, "I cannot control what is in your head," while touching my head. I want to thank everyone who shared their opinions, whether helpful or not, right or wrong. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. I cannot control her. I cannot control the past. All I can do is trust, let go, and avoid building resentment between us. If either of us breaks that trust, we were never meant to be together. I cannot punish her for my past experiences. Please take care of yourselves. Edit 2. The discussions have been diverse, ranging from suggestions to break up to comments about how wild this conversation is. I understand. I appreciate everyone's concerns, they make me feel heard. Some individuals have suggested I am not capable of being in a relationship at this time. My response is, when is anyone truly ready for that? What defines readiness? And who asserts that love must wait for one to be ready? Love does not obey time constraints, it occurs as it chooses. So yes, I am not ready. I strive to approach it more each day, being a deeply flawed man who has faced betrayal. I know my girlfriend better than any of you. She has demonstrated her loyalty by standing by me during some of my darkest moments, including when I was completely broke. Therefore, the absolute statement of breakup is not feasible. We are emotionally and spiritually intertwined. She is an extension of myself. Still, my girlfriend is very independent. She has her own traumas and has fought her entire life to ensure her independence. She has made compromises for me many times. Jealousy does not disappear. I will perceive shadows if I choose to see them. It comes down to trust. I choose to trust. If that trust is broken, it is not my fault. I urge everyone not to focus on ego, including anyone who may read this for advice in the future. Avoid focusing on your ego. Do you need reassurance? Ask your partner. A good partner will provide that. Talk through it. If you love them, fight for the relationship. Relationships require effort and commitment. Yesterday, I had a moment of weakness and allowed my emotions to take over. Avoid making such mistakes. Remember, your partner has shown you love and care. Speak to them gently while expressing your concerns. If you genuinely love someone and they genuinely love you, you must trust them. Look within yourself. Your heart holds all the answers you need. Please take care of yourselves. Story 4. Betrayed by my best friend, I found out she spent years spreading rumors to make me invisible. You're self-absorbed and cringe, they said, but all I wanted was to belong. After months of isolation, I finally learned the truth. How could I have been so blind? The main event that led to this situation occurred in late 2023, and before anyone asks why I'm still discussing this now, I only recently learned about everything that happened behind my back, yes, 2 years later. I thought that these issues resurfacing 2 years later would not affect me. However, my family and friends have noticed that I have not been myself lately. Honestly, at this point, I really cannot discern what has been causing my unhappiness. So I hope that sharing this here will alleviate my mental torment because I want to feel happy again. I'm a 19-year-old female who recently graduated from post-secondary education. Since my first year, I have been close to a girl whom I will refer to as H. We used to be very close, and we both enjoyed each other's company. Most of the time, she would share her problems with me, and I would help her because I genuinely cared for her as a friend. To me, she was like the big sister I never had, as I admired her for being mature and independent. Fast forward to the end of our first year, we both ended up getting boyfriends, and coincidentally, all four of us were in the same class. Little did I know this situation would end so poorly in 2023. To get to the point, I always had a bad feeling about her boyfriend T, since I interacted with him during group projects and he was also close to my boyfriend. He loved to make comparisons and seemed to think he was superior to everyone else. Later, I learned that he had been saying terrible things about me to people in my class, making comments about my body, specifically my chest, which is something I cannot change, claiming I was stupid, which I believe no one is, and much more. Additionally, when the main event took place, I was unaware of this behavior. The most significant point leading to the main event is that I felt T consistently took advantage of my boyfriend, who is the type of person that never says no to anyone. I apologize for the lengthy explanation, please bear with me. The main event. One day, while my boyfriend was at my house, he received a call from T. T was panicking and pleading with my boyfriend to come over to the hotel they were at. For context, I think both T and H's parents do not trust them being together, if that makes sense. Therefore, T lied to his parents, claiming he was with my boyfriend, and T's parents wanted photo evidence. Consequently, T was frantically asking my boyfriend to go to the hotel just to snap a quick photo so he could leave afterward because T and H wanted to be intimate. Then my boyfriend handed the phone to me, and I told T that no, my boyfriend would not travel all the way to the hotel just because T needed him for a 2-second photo. At that point, I felt he was treating my boyfriend like a puppet for his own convenience. I admit I used some harsh words such as, "That's your own problem for lying to your parents." He became very angry, told H about the conversation, and H immediately picked up the phone to tell me that she was disappointed in me for not assisting them. She decided to end our friendship. In that moment, I looked at my boyfriend, stunned. We were both shocked by their reaction, especially H's. Fast forward to a little later, H decided she wanted to reconcile our friendship, and we met to have a conversation. We parted ways on what I thought was a happy note and remained friends for several months. However, one day she suddenly started ignoring me and did not speak to me for the following months, even when I approached her both in person and via text multiple times. Eventually, I stopped trying because I did not want to make her uncomfortable, and I felt very sad that she treated me as if I were invisible. After our internship. Several months later, after our 6-month internship, school reopened and she began communicating with me again. I was quite happy, and speaking with her felt reminiscent of the good times in our first and second years. I also learned that T had broken up with her. I felt relief for her since I believed he was not good for her. It was enjoyable for the first few hours until I joined her and her 3 other friends for karaoke. Once again, I felt practically invisible to all of them. Although I felt deeply hurt, I chose not to question it because I realized that throughout the 2 to 3 hours there, she did not look at me even once. That was when I knew she would do it again, and I was correct. She gave me false hope that one day, and afterward she cast me aside to solely hang out with her 3 friends. Additionally, I discovered that she had removed 2 girls from her group and only retained the remaining 3 friends. What happened behind my backs? To summarize, during the years 2024 and 2025, I experienced a miserable existence in class because most people treated me like I was invisible as well. It was incredibly difficult for me to act normally, and I was genuinely trying my best to contribute to group projects. However, I learned that the reason people in my class, along with individuals outside my class, whom I had known since year 1, ignored me whenever I attempted to say hello to them was that H had told others not to speak to me or befriend me or else I would betray them. This explains why some individuals treated me differently in class and others ignored me even when I approached them. Occasionally, they would deliberately do things to make me feel excluded as well. Regarding the karaoke incident, H apparently felt that I was unaware of their dynamics that day and questioned why I had joined them. Her entire friend group ignored me that day. Many people in my Year 1 class disliked me, and recently, during a discussion about one of their birthday chalet events, several individuals insisted that I could not attend. I suspect that either H, T, or both spread rumors about me to everyone we knew collectively, calling me self-absorbed and cringe for posting on social media, circulating my videos to talk negatively about me or laugh at me. One more thing, I discovered that H speaks poorly about her close friends to other people. This revelation shocked me because the person orchestrating all these actions behind my back was not the same person I had known in Year 1 who was genuinely kind. It truly broke my heart to realize all of this recently. Afterward, I took a few days to reflect and comfort myself by reassuring myself that at least I graduated and would not have to encounter these people again. The only time I would need to see them is on my graduation day. I plan to leave these experiences behind and forgive all the individuals mentioned above. I believe I am emotionally mature enough to do so, and I am actually grateful to understand what transpired because it has made me a stronger person. I hope this offers the closure I need. Please share your thoughts on what I should have done. I genuinely value my friendships and do not want to lose any more friends. I am eager to make new friends in university and leave the past behind. I sincerely appreciate you reading all the way to this point. It means a great deal to me.